just a basic introduction about what is a testing, what is manual testing, what is automated testing, why we need to learn Selenium, what are the topics I'm going to be covered, what is the duration of course. This is what my context is. So if you're not able to understand anything, feel free to bring into my notice. Okay. So team, this is the request I'll do with this. So as you know that, so why we are doing testing? We are doing the testing. The main process is first identify issues on an application. Right? It's kind of a low-level class team for you, introduction, but this class is very, very important. So first, why we are doing testing is team, identify the issues on the application or a software, whatever it may be. Okay. So why we need to identify the issues? What is the point of why we need to identify the issues? So the objective of testing is team, we need to improve the quality of an application. We need to improve the quality of an application team. So how exactly quality will be improved? Because as we identify the bugs, so that developer can come up with the corrective action. So keep doing repeatedly this action, which automatically improve the quality of an application team. So my bottom line here I need to say here is team, the main objective of testing is improve the quality of an application. Is this a clear statement, everyone? You're right. So everyone is unmute team. Now you can open up. No worries. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So to improve the quality of an application, as per the markets, we have two ways. One is manual testing, other one is automation testing. One is manual testing, other one is automation testing. So what is manual testing? What is automation testing? Okay. So there are plenty of definitions team. I'm not talking about any theoretical stuff. I'll directly go into the process. Okay. So let me answer what exactly a manual testing. Okay. There are plenty of definitions. If you want any theoretical stuff, going forward I'll help you team to give you theoretical stuff. But as you know, everyone is expecting only real-time process knowledge. So let me go with the first manual testing. What exactly manual testing is? As my view, executing the test cases manually is nothing but manual testing. So you already have an experience. That is the reason I'm directly getting to the context. Executing test cases by manually is nothing but manual testing. Okay, then what is an automation? Automation is nothing but executing the test cases by using some automation tools or by using some third-party tool is nothing but automation testing. I'm directly saying this team, manual testing is nothing but there are plenty of definitions. Not only we are executing the test cases, we also do other stuff also. But as per the definition, I'm directly giving very short answer is what is a manual testing? Executing the test cases by manually is nothing but manual testing. Executing the test cases by using some automation tool or third-party tool is nothing but automation testing team. Okay. Now come to the context team here. This is very, very important. Why automation? Why don't we go for manual testing? Why the people are looking for automation testing? This is very, very important. To answer this question team, before that, I will be talking about first of all, tester roles and responsibilities so that you will get a clear picture. So if guys are, coming from, non-technical background also, this makes, very helpful. So what are the basically tester roles and responsibilities? Okay. So, and, any interview team you can take. First question they might be asked about is, tell me your testing process in your company, or go through your profiles, or tell about yourself something else. So what we're going to discuss is, we're going to discuss about, so myself so and so, I've been into this industry like so many years, so I have these many years experience. Coming to my technical skills or coming to my day-to-day activities, so this is what something you discuss. So directly or indirectly team, so you have to know about roles and responsibilities. This is first you need to know and you need to introduce. By default this question expected question. So what are the roles and responsibilities of test engineer? Okay, I will come to this point team. So first point, what the basically tester do is, whenever you get a requirements or whenever you get a storage in terms of Azure, whenever you get requirements from clients, business analyst or product owner. Okay, depends on the company. There is every first company we have a over requirement, final authority person team. That might be a client, be it product owner, be it BA. So whenever we get a requirement from the clients, what we need to do team, we need to first analyze the requirement functionality. So what is the purpose of analyzing the requirement functionality team? If you want to test a product, if you want to test an application team, first of all, you should know how exactly it is behaving and what is client expecting. So how come you know that? Based on the requirement functionality. So step one is team, we need to understand the requirement functionality whenever we get a requirement from the BA or clients. This is step one. Once requirement functionality is clear, then we need to come up with this based on your experience, based on your designation. You will be come up with a lot of things. As a tester, he will be come up with the test cases. As a lead, he will be come up with the scope. Something manager, he will be identify the estimation and all the stuff. But I am talking about now tester roles and responsibility team and how the process is going on the organization. I am not at all talking about the lead responsibilities. I am not at all talking about manager responsibilities. I am just giving this what exactly tester will do. So whenever we get a requirement from the clients, we need to first understand the requirement functionality. Once the requirement functionality is clear, team, fine. If the requirement functionality is not clear, maybe you have some queries on that. So you need to arrange a separate calls with your superiors or your leads. You need to get those things clear. The bottom line is you need to first understand the requirement functionality. Once the requirement functionality is clear, team, what we need to do is we need to prepare a test cases. We need to prepare a test case. So what is a test case, team? Test case is nothing but, for test case also there are many definitions, team. But what I'm giving you the what exactly test case is. Test case is nothing but, team, it is a collection of test steps. It tells the expected result of the requirement. Test case is nothing but, team, it's a collection of test steps and it tells the expected result of the requirement. Hope you clear. Why we are writing test cases, team? What we want to test, what the system should be behave. That is what something we put on the document. That is known as test cases document. Okay. So whenever we came up with the test cases, parallelly, team, developers are implementing their own source code. Once our test case is completed, at the time you can expect release from developer's end. You can expect build or release from the developer's end. Release or build. So what developers will give you is whenever the implementation is completed, whenever they are doing implementation, team, we need to prepare a test cases. For testing, we need one proof. Boss, this is what something I am going to be test. For my end, this is what my document. Just go through this document. This is what something I am going to be verified. Application should be met all these requirements, functionality. So for our end, team, we need to prepare one document and of a proof for testing that is simply known as test case document. So test case tells that it is a collection of test steps and it tells the expected result of the requirement. So this is what test cases. So when we will prepare test cases, team, whenever we get a requirement functionality is clear, then we need to start test cases writing. Whenever the build is deployed in our QA environment, every company, team, we have a 3 environments: production environment, QA environment, development environment. In the development environment, team, so development will be going on. QA environment, testers will be involved in this phase. They will be test the application. Production means client will be user team. So whenever the build is deployed from dev to QA, we have to execute our test cases, team. We have to execute our test cases. While executing the test cases, team, what we need to do is we need to compare expected result and actual result. So what is expected result and what is actual result? Expected result is nothing but, team, based on your understanding of the requirement functionality, you put on a test cases sheet. That is something known as expected result. Actual result is nothing but, team, whenever you are executing a test cases, application is giving one result. That result is typically known as actual result. Hope you clear. So what is expected result, team? Expected result is nothing but based on our understanding of the requirement functionality, what you are expecting, that is something known as what you are expecting, what client is expecting. That is something known as expected result. Actual result is nothing but team. Whenever you are executing your test cases, what exactly application is giving, that is something known as actual result. So while executing the test cases, we have to compare expected result and actual result. If both are equal, if you feel that is exactly what I am expecting, system also behaving the same, then that means that team, your test case is passed. Your test case is passed. If something is deviating, maybe you are expecting something, application is behaving differently, then your test case might be failed team. You are expecting something, it's not at all met your requirements, then your test case might be failed. Whenever your test case is failed in, what we need to do? We need to report it to the developers notice, obviously. So we need to bring them into developers notice because this functionality is not working as expected. So its requirement is behaving differently. Please look into it and fix the bug ASAP. So we will bring it immediately developers notice team. So what developer do is developer will fix the bug. Whenever developer fixes the bug team, we have to again do the retesting whether this guy is fixed properly or not. If it is fixed properly team, it is working as expected, you can simply close the bug. If the bug, if it is still existing, the bug is not at all fixed properly, then you need to reopen the bug. This process we keep on doing team until all the test cases got passed, all the major and critical bugs got closed. This is what basically tester roles and responsibilities. Am I missing anything team here? Prabodh, Satish, Shailaja, able to follow or not? Are you with me?
Yes, Satish here. Yes, I can proceed.
Yeah, sure. So let me summarize here. So basically what exactly tester roles and responsibilities is, the first we need to understand the requirement functionality. Once the requirement functionality is clear, we need to prepare a test cases. Parallelly development is going on development environment. So whenever they deploy the build in QA environment, we have to execute our test cases on the build. While executing the test cases, we need to compare expected result and actual result. While comparing expected and actual result, if both are equal, if we feel that obviously it is working as expected, then we make simply our test cases pass. If something is deviating, we will make our test cases fail. Whenever our test case is failed, we need to bring into developers notice and fix the bug. So we need to check the developer to fix the bug in. Once the bug is fixed, we have to do the retesting. In the retesting, we need to still do this, whether still the bug is reproducing or not. If the bug is reproducing, again we need to reassign the bug. If the bug is not reproducing, we need to simply close the bug. This process we keep on doing it until all the test cases got passed, all the major and minor, all the critical and major bugs are closed. Apart from this team, we'll do other stuff also. We'll come up with the checklist. We'll prepare a test plan. We'll do the traceable, kind of, how for this requirement, how many test cases I designed, what are the bugs of log. So we will do a lot of things team, but high level this is what we are doing. But as the part of our job, we need to prepare a test plan. We need to come up with the estimation, how much time it will take. And we need to do the traceability for this requirement, how many test cases you document, for this test case, what are the test cases got tell you, and whenever you execute it. There are plenty of deliverables we need to deliver team. Those things I will be discussed, going up forward class. This is what just high level I am giving you overview team, what basically tester is doing. Right? So this is what basically tester is doing team. Why I am discussing this point is, why automation? So before automation team, this is what basically testers will do in this. Now, what is automation testing? I discussed you team. So as well for testing their application, manual testing is good enough. Then why the people are looking for automation? Because if I am specifically mentioning automation means team, you need to make the work by tool, not manually. Then why the people are looking for automation testing? Why the major drawback of manual testing? But this is expected question in every interview room team. What are the major drawback of manual testing? Why we go for automation testing? So can anyone tell me team the drawback of manual testing team? I am expecting the proper answer. What are the major drawbacks of manual testing? Major drawback.
But it increases human efforts.
Increases human effort. I need technical answers. Hello. Whatever you are saying, agree. But I need in the technical terms. If you give them answers, he should be impressed. Why we are going for automation? If you literally work for this, you know, you'll know that.
To save lots of time. To save lots of time. Reduces the human efforts.
Reduces the human efforts. Okay.
Saves lots of time.
Yeah. Valid answers for you. Valid answer. What you are saying is valid answer. Yeah. Please go ahead.
We can execute re-execution of failure tests at any time.
That's what I am expecting. That is what I am expecting. That is what I am expecting. You know, I need a technical terms. So what are the major drawback of manual testing is frequent regression testing is not possible.
Okay.
If you want to do the repetitive regression testing, then that is not at all possible by manual testing. So hope you guys are know about what is regression testing, or can I explain? Regression testing is nothing but executing previous build test cases on the modified build or new build is known as regression testing. Agree? Agree, team? What is regression testing? Executing previous build test case on the new build or modified build is known as regression testing. So the major drawback of manual testing team, repetitive regression testing. If you want to involve frequent regression testing, then manual it is not possible team. That is the reason we are going for automation testing. Now you might be have a question. So Manoj, you are saying that, so myself Manoj may discuss that. So Manoj, you are saying that regression testing is not possible by manually, then how it is possible by automation? For this scenario team, I'll be coming with a practical approach, why it is possible by automation, why not possible by manually, so that it brings you clear picture. So first thing team here, assume that, as I told you that, assume that in my hand I have a one release team. My release name I am giving the name as a IR1, iteration 1 or something, IR1 is my release name. So in the IR1 release team, I have a 10 requirements, or you can say 10 stories. I have 10 requirements. Based on this 10 requirements team, I designed 300 test cases, either in the positive flow or negative flow or boundary value analysis or equivalence class partition. Whatever the cases, we prepared 300 test cases based on the test requirement functionality. Now here is the question team, how many test cases I want to execute? How many test cases I want to execute? I designed 300 test cases on the IR1 release. So how many test cases I want to execute team?
300.
300. So team, just let me know. Still, if this class is going on very high level, I'm not sure. I thought of you guys are having manual testing knowledge. If not, just let me know. I'll go with very low level. I'll tell you what's going on testing phases. The thing is team, your understanding is very, very important. Okay. So team, so if not, even I don't have any questions, then I'll go with this team. So I have a 10 requirements. Based on the 10 requirement functionality, I designed 300 test cases team. So obviously, how many test cases I want to execute? I want to execute 300 test cases. I want to execute 300 test cases. Right? While executing the test cases team, I need to compare my expected result and actual result. If something is deviating, I need to log the bugs. For testing this complete release team, in my hand I have 30 days time. 30 days is the time team. So within the 30 days team, I need to understand the requirement functionality. Within the 30 days, I need to prepare 300 test cases, executing 300 test cases, comparing the triggers, logging the bugs. So we have fair enough time team, executing 300 test cases 30 days. It could be left-handed for us. Per day minimum, we are executing minimum 50 test cases. The worst case, minimum. At least it is a very complex. It is we'll execute minimum 25 to 30. So if we have a 30 days team, it's pretty easy to organize 300 test cases. Agree? Now, I tested completely IR1 release team. As you know that developers are not at all giving the complete application at a time. They are giving the application the bits and pieces. So let's say if they develop for a Gmail application, they're not at all giving complete Gmail application at a time team. They'll be first give you first login functionality, inbox functionality as a first module. Once this functionality is completed, then they might be released kind of compose mail and send mail functionality. That is typically known as IR2 is the release name. That's not in the same one. IR2 also have a 10 requirements team. Okay, so it's a new enhancement. So based on this 10 requirements team, now how many test cases I designed again? So again assume that team, same story, I designed 300 test cases. Now here is the question team, how many test cases I want to execute? How many test cases I want to execute?
600.
Usually, sorry?
600 test cases.
Yeah, perfect. So usually team, whenever we get a build, we need to, always dying about regression testing, right? So we need to execute now 600 test cases. So Manoj, you designed only 300 test cases, then now we are executing 600 test cases. What is the point? We designed 300 test cases team, that means it's a only latest functionality. But because of these changes, is there any 100% guarantee team? It's not at all impacting on the previous functionality. We don't have any guarantee, right? If developer made some changes, it might be impact on some other areas. So that is the reason team, we need to do even whatever the functionality you tested previously, you have to execute those tests again. We need to compare again expected actual result. So this time we need to execute 600 test cases. So again for testing this release also, for we need to compare expected result and actual result. For testing this also, we have a 30 days time. So within the 30 days team, we can execute 600 test cases. Now you successfully complete even IR2 also. Then we got IR3. So same story. Again IR3 is the same story team. So I have a 10 stories or 10 requirements. Based on the 10 requirements, I designed 300 test cases. Now how many test cases I want to execute team now? Now I want to execute 900 test cases. So can you think that team within the 1 month, we executing 900 test cases by manually? It's not at all possible. It's not at all possible. If you keep on getting the builds, obviously the scope of regression will be increased. So, if it is only IR3 function, if it is only IR3 release, we can handle it. But what about regression? We need to, even ensure that IR1 and IR2 also. IR2 is nothing but typically IR1 plus IR2. IR3 is nothing but typically IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. They are giving completely the modules. They are not at all giving individual modules. So we need to execute now 300 test cases or 900 test cases. So within the 1 month team, we cannot execute 900 test cases. We can execute only 300 test cases. So that is the reason team, regression testing is not possible by manually. Then how it is possible by automation testing team? So whenever we get a latest build, that latest build directly goes to the first manual testing people. Once the manual testing people is certified that, it will be go to the automation people. So parallelly we got again a new build. Now IR2 is a new build team. Whenever we get a new build, so this will be go to the manual testing. Now IR1 will go to the automation people. Now again I have new build called IR3. So whenever I have a IR3 team, that new build will directly go to the manual testing team. Now I have a IR1 plus IR2. This will be goes to directly team automation people. So whenever you getting a previous build, keep on we are adding for the previous build test cases in the automation level, not in the manual testing. So manual testing we are going for only new enhancements, and automation testing we are care about for the regression testing. Now again here is the one point I need to highlight. If you have a 10,000 test cases team for regression, we cannot automate 10,000 test cases. That is not at all possible. We need to first come up with the scope. What are the test cases are suitable for automation? What are the test cases are not suitable for automation? So the scope is also very, very important. Today I don't want to discuss about scope. Going forward, you will come to know that what is the scope and how we can identify the regression cases, smoke cases, how to identify, how to automate it. All these things you will be learn going forward classes team. So now bottom line, today just you want to remember team, whenever we get a new build, that build will go to the manual testing people. Previous build test case will go to the automation testing. Okay, but you need to understand team, automation testing means that it's not at all completely eliminating the manual testing. Whatever the test cases you are executing manually, you try to reduce the test cases by manually. That's all about the automation testing work, but not eliminating the completely manual testing. Okay, so the major drawback of manual testing, why we are going for automation testing is only for doing the frequent regression testing. Every it is I need involved in the regression testing. Then you need to take the help of automation tools. So there are a couple of frameworks available in the automation team. So first of all, we have a Selenium, and we have a QTP, and we have RFT. We have some other APIs also available, some other frameworks also available in the market. Out of all these things, why did Selenium become famous? To answer this question, team, I need to compare with the Selenium on famous automation tool. So far as you know the same, you might be heard about in testing work. First of all, you might be heard about QTP. So QTP is nothing but it was introduced by 2002. It's done with almost decade. So most of the testers will hear at least heard about QTP tool. Quick Test Professional. So why did Selenium become famous? To answer this question, I thought of QTP is the leader in the functional marketing team. So I'll be compared with Selenium with the QTP tool, so that you get a clear picture. Why did the people learning with the Selenium? Why all the companies are looking for Selenium professionals now? To answer this question, team, now I'm comparing with the QTP. Just let me know if you have any questions. So assume that, team, we have an application. We want to automate the application by using QTP tool. So what we require, team, we need QTP tool. From where we are getting the QTP tool? It is a kind of licensed version. We need to purchase the QTP tool from the HP people, and it's very, very expensive. Let me explain the same point by using Selenium team. If you want to automate an application, so you don't want to pay to anyone, it's not a licensed version team. Selenium is a kind of open source. So this is the biggest advantage for the client team, because they don't want to spend the money on the tool. They can simply invest the money on the resources. Okay. So QTP is licensed version, Selenium is open source team. This is the first point you need to understand. Second thing is, team, now everyone today is dying for compatibility testing. So what is mean by compatibility testing? Compatibility testing also, team, it's a kind of a part of regression testing. That means that we need to execute our test cases in Firefox version, Chrome browser, Safari browser. So we need to execute our test cases in all these browsers, because if your product is supporting all the browsers, team, you have to certify the product in Firefox, IE, Safari, Chrome. Whatever the versions your browser is supporting or your application is supporting, you need to certify all these environments. Agree? Right? So if you go for the QTP tool, team, by using QTP tool, can we execute test cases in all the browsers? If you're not familiar with the QTP team, no need to worry about it. I am giving the differences between Selenium and QTP. The reason is you have to know why the people are looking for Selenium. But for learning Selenium team, QTP knowledge is not at all required. No need to worry about it. Okay? Satish, am I clear? Shailaja?
Yes, yeah. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So if you want to do this, kind of executing your test case in all the environments, might be not at all possible, because QTP by default supports in IE browser, and QTP supports even latest version. QTP is kind of 11.5. It supports Firefox old version and Chrome old version. What if basically we are executing test case only on latest environments. What if I want to execute my test case in other browsers? Only for executing the test case in IE browser, depending on the automation resources. Again, rest of the browser depending on the manual testing people. Does it make any sense, team? Obviously no, right? So here you need to understand, team, cross browser testing is not possible by QTP. Okay? Cross browser testing is not possible by QTP. Whereas in Selenium, team, you can happily execute your test case in any browser, any version. You can execute your test case in any browser, any version, team, Selenium supports. Point number 2 is cross browser testing is possible. Okay, and point number 3, same as in cross platform thing. That means that if your product is supporting Windows box, Linux box, Mac machines, you have to execute your test case in all these environments. If you go for the QTP team, does we install the QTP in Linux and Mac machines? Can we automate our test cases? No, it's not possible. QTP by default supports only Windows environment. That is the reason again. So Selenium came into the market, team. So Selenium came into the market. The reason is cross platform support also supporting team. but QTP does not support this cross-platform testing. That means that you can execute your test case in only Windows machine. You cannot execute your test case in other browsers, other boxes. But by using Selenium team, you can execute your test case in any box. It is possible. So Selenium is open source. It supports cross-browser. It supports cross-platform. And apart from these things, team, if you want to work with the automation, either you should be strong in one programming language too, because you are working with the tool will work based on your instruction. How you are giving instruction to the tool team? By using one programming language. So you supposed to know one programming language. If I want to work with the QTP team, either I should be mastering VB scripting or Java scripting. QTP by default supports only these two environments, kind of Ruby or Java. What if I am not clear with these requirements? I know about Ruby, I knew about Python, I knew about C#. Then you can go for Selenium. Selenium is not supporting limited programming languages. It supports Java, it supports Ruby, it supports Python, it supports C#, it supports Perl. All these environments Selenium supporting team. Okay, so all these points are make this Selenium is very famous in the market now. So it supports cross-platform, it supports cross-browser, it supports multiple programming languages. When you actually compare with QTP, QTP supports only 2, but Selenium supports almost 5 or 6 languages in here. So multiple browsers supporting, we have multiple platform, multiple browsers, multiple scripting languages. So all these points are making the team Selenium is so famous in the market now. That is the reason everyone is looking for Selenium. It's open source, it supports cross-browser, it supports cross-platform, and one more important point is it supports multiple scripting languages team. Okay, still few of the companies are using QTP. So if the few of the companies are using QTP, then what is the importance, what are the advantages we have? So by using QTP team, you can automate 2-tier applications, you can automate 3-tier applications team. You can automate 2-tier applications, you can automate 3-tier applications. That means that you can automate Windows-based applications, you can automate web applications. But by using Selenium team, you can just automate web applications. You cannot automate kind of Windows-based applications or client-server-based applications. You can automate only web-based applications. Okay, so let me explain what exactly Selenium. Selenium is an open source test automation framework. Selenium is open source test automation framework team. Let me document this. It's a open source test automation framework which is used for to test the publication functionality in multiple browsers and multiple platforms. Okay, so the statement is clear team. Selenium is open source test automation framework.
Hi, Prabodh here. I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So you have mentioned that QTP can automate 2-tier and 3-tier applications, but Selenium cannot do that?
Yes.
So can you please elaborate this point? I'm not very clear on this.
I just want to download the Java. So this is what happening on web application, right? Now I want to download this free Java download. I want to just download this. In my application I have a high priority test case. I want to download the file. So whenever I download the file, this is completely a window-based control. You agree or not?
Yeah.
This is completely web-based, window-based control. Save file and cancel, and we have to execute it. We need to go to the C drive, program file, something, blah blah blah. It's completely on window-based thing. But we are getting on the web-based applications. So if you have a kind of window-based control, Selenium will not be communicate to this. Selenium will communicate only web-based controls.
But then this is a disadvantage, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As I mentioned that if you want to automate it, we need to take that. But Selenium we can integrate, third-party plugins. Okay, so telling you that. So this is a high priority test case. We must automate it. So for this reason, we need to take some third-party API in the Java. We can integrate it. We can handle this. So how we can handle going forward, I'll explain in the classes. But now you need to understand this. Selenium supports only 3-tier applications. Selenium does not support 2
So, I mean,
directly we cannot handle using. That's what I'm trying to say. Now let's come to the second point here. Yes,
Yeah.
we handle. You need to say right, but you assume that the second point is super. Assume that this is a QTP tool. Every automation tool by default supports these features, like record and playback, descriptive programming. You might be having experience on that. I'm thinking this. So every automation tool by default supports these features, team, like record and playback, descriptive programming writing. In your QTP, assume that this is a QTP tool. If you want to do the record and playback, team, there is an inbuilt option in the QTP tool, team. If you want to do the object identification, there is again one concept. It's very, very important. There is an inbuilt concept in the QTP tool, object spike. If you want to write a programs, there is a test case in the QTP tool. If you want to do the something, you want to read the data from some external files like Notepad or CSV or some Excel. So there is a data tables concept. Whatever we require in automation testing, if you look for the QTP tool, everything there is a inbuilt concept. You don't want to get into the outside of the QTP world to do anything in automation testing if you go for QTP. But by using Selenium, team, if you want to do the record and playback, you need to download one third-party plugin. If you want to do this, descriptive programming, again you need to download one third-party plugin. If you want to read the data from the Excel files, you need to download one third-party plugin. So for Selenium, we don't have a specific tool. You need to understand that point. Selenium is a suite of tools. Okay. So if you download, if you know about the API, then you are capable for handling the controls. If you don't know about the API, then how can you handle it? Am I clear? Sorry, what I'm saying?
yeah, that is okay. But the thing is that these are mostly disadvantages, right? I mean, compare these points with that that licensing and all. These are, I mean, higher than the previous points. So weightage of this point is higher than the previous points.
I'm saying that, right? You're downloading it, add it to our automation tool. This is what something you need to care about it. If you know about the API, then we can handle it. But again, remember, whatever the APIs we are using, third-party APIs, all these third-party APIs are again open source APIs. What are the third-party APIs we are using in Selenium? Again, all these third-party APIs are open source APIs. These open source APIs are divided into or categorized into Selenium flavors. Those are all we have. Selenium IDE. Then we have Selenium RC. Nobody using today's world Selenium RC. Then we have a Selenium grid. Everybody using only WebDriver. So what is the WebDriver? WebDriver is not a component of Selenium. This is enhancements of Selenium RC. This is advanced of Selenium RC. Okay. So whatever third-party APIs we are using in Selenium, those are all divided into Selenium flavors. Okay. We have Selenium IDE, WebDriver, and grid today in the market. So you need to understand here is, for QTP we have a specific tool, but for Selenium we don't have a specific tool. But apart from that feature, if you look for it's kind of open source, class browser, class track for multiple scripting language support, it will do all this stuff, and you can integrate kind of some kind of performance plugins. You can do even performance testing also. Okay, this is all about kind of Selenium team. Let me explain. This is all about just kind of my demo. So what I'm going to be covered. This is something very, very interested. You want to know that people what I'm going to be covered during our course. So complete team. My course duration is every batch I keep on increasing the duration team because a lot of things are adding in Selenium. So it might be taking 45 to 50 days team. So every day I have 1 hour class. It's simply going as 45 classes. So I'm going to be covered first thing. This is what something I explained to you team. I explained today very, very high level. No need to worry about it. Still, if you have a question, maybe in next class I will give you pretty easy answers. I'll go with the very low level. So today we discussed about what is automation testing, use of clearly. You have to know about Selenium API. So usually we not at all using Selenium IDE in our real time. But to learn WebDriver quickly team, if you know about Selenium IDE, it makes your job is pretty easy. It makes you familiar with Selenium in very short span of time. That is the reason team, I'm first talking with the Selenium IDE. I'm not just spending much time on this. I'll be spending 2 or 3 classes on the Selenium IDE team. Even in the 2 or 3 classes also, I'll be talking about very, very important topics. The core concepts of automation testing. What was that is? Object identification, verifications or assertions team, and synchronization, wait timings. Even this time Selenium IDE 3 class also team, I will be talking about very important 3 things. Okay, once we done with this team, I am implementing Selenium with the Java team here. So many of the students have been asking me like, for learning Selenium, Java is required or not. So the answer is team, I have no need to worry about it. Even Java people also not teaching this much of pretty easy. I will be talking you Java in pretty easy manner. So I'll make sure that in the end of the day definitely you will be writing scripting. That's my job, you don't need to worry about it. So I'll be talking about all these features team Java. So for Java I'm going to be spending 15 classes. Once we're done with the Java team, I'll be jumping to the test engine framework, WebDriver, the JUnit. So in WebDriver, each and every control team, whatnot, every control I'm going to be automating in all the browsers. Text box, right from the text box onwards, any control. This is what my course content team. So I'll be handling, screenshots, synchronizing APIs, how to keep a verification command, how to do this, file upload and file download by using some other APIs, handling alerts, confirmation boxes, keyboard actions, iframes, multiple tabs, pop-ups. These are all core concepts of automation testing. Web tables, static web table, dynamic web table, how to generate the reports, how to work with the logs, all these doing are part of the course. Once we're done with this team, I will be executing parallel test execution, and as well as I will be talking about mapping. So complete idea, I will give you a mapping team. Once we're done with the mapping, I will be giving you about version controlling knowledge team. This is very important. Right from the day one onwards, you need to involve in this version controlling tool. Then I will be talking about kind of database testing, automation framework, other history of your continuation integration testing, as well as this web service is not part of course team. This is recently I have added in my course content. So today I am being given web service testing also team by using RESTful client. I will tell you even about RESTful client testing also. So the complete duration is, it's not as 40 asking. So assume that it's a kind of 45. So sometimes even I will be take the class on during the weekends also team. So this is all about introduction class. So please feel free to ask any questions you have. Because I keep on updating team. I know what they're expecting in the market. So whenever we see the JD, I know what the questions are expecting from the market. So no need to worry about it. I'm not saying about, if you attend each and every interview, you can crack an interview. But if you attend at least 5 calls, you are capable for, I'll make you capable for cracking at least 3 interview calls. I'm not saying, you will be cracked 5 out of 5, but at least I'll make you, you can crack at least 3. This is all about I'm going to be, talking about during our course, and I'll send you the soft copy and I'll send you the sample results also too.